teaching people sales skills. It's not a script. And it's a way of, if you teach someone to think about selling in this way, they can leave Toast, go to another company as the first sales rep, and build their own scripts in an intelligent way.
This is Morgan J. Ingram here, host of the SDR Chronicles, bringing you sales development knowledge, sales practitioners, sales leaders on how to really get yourself focused and really how to grow in your role today and be phenomenal. And today I have Alex from Toast, and what he's going to be talking about is how to develop a strategy, sales strategy from scratch, and how to implement it in those processes that he's took to develop the strategies he has today. I'm super excited to have him on. And without any further ado, I'm going to let Alex introduce himself a little bit further, and we're going to dive into the topic of the day.
Hey, everybody. Alex Boulder, currently Business Development Manager at Toast Inc. Almost called it Toast University for some reason. That's our online ordering management system. I use it a lot for the BDRs. Anyways, started out as a BDR like 2.5 years ago. Was a BDR for about 6 months at a company called Insight Squared in Boston. Jumped to a company called BevSpot, was the first inside sales rep there with my business partner, Ross Nyber, and we built that to about a 50-person sales unit in a year. Got to Toast about a year ago from today, and we are at a 50-person business development team, growing to maybe 200 by the end of 2018. So a lot on our plates, but really excited to be here. So
cool. Awesome. And how many people do you directly manage?
Right now it's just 11. We've got 4 managers, including myself. Ross is sitting on top as director biz dev. We have a 5th manager running inbound. But for the first long time, it was just me and Ross on top of like 30 people, which was the Wild West.
It is the Wild West once you first start an SDR team. I know that firsthand. Cool. So I'm curious, before we kind of hop right into the meat of this conversation, what number were you when you started at Toast? Did you start as a business development manager, or did you start as a BDR?
No, so I started as a business development manager, and I was probably like number 400. But it was the company's 3rd time trying to build an outbound business development program. Yeah. And when we first when the job first kind of crossed my desk, we were, I think there were 3 outbound BDRs, 2 inbound BDRs, and 1 enterprise BDR. And they were looking for 1 business development manager. And what happened was they met Ross, they met me. We kind of told them that we would take the job as a team if they wanted us to. And they ended up coming back to us with an offer to build the company together, because we had just done that in the same exact industry. And I guess we'd sold ourselves well. When we first got to the company, people kept calling us stepbrothers. Just like the movie when they interview in the tuxedos.
Yep. That movie's the best, by the way. If you have not seen that and you're watching this, I don't know what you're doing. Quick
plug, real quick, for Step Brothers.
Yeah, exactly. This is sponsored by Step Brothers. Just kidding. It's a great movie, though. So let's dive into it. So sales strategy. So when you first started, that was probably one of the first actions that that you were asked of you, is to build a sales strategy. What was the things that you were looking at, and what does a sales strategy look like to you?
Yeah. So when I first came in, it was a lot of getting a training program together. And I'd had bones of the training program I'd built prior at the previous company, but nothing's exactly the same. And I thought that there was a real opportunity to learn. So I jumped on the phones for the first couple weeks. And what I had developed while at Toast is actually completely on a different level and different than what I had developed at my previous company. So prior, I had a lot of ideas around how do you open, what's a value prop, what are you trying to accomplish in the midsection of the call, what does a close sound like, and conceptually would teach them, but didn't really put it together as a funnel. And then when I started thinking about it from scratch with a small team again, and I was able to really take all my learnings, because like once you've got a team that's so big and you've been doing it away for so long, it's really hard to maybe take fresh eyes at something. So it was such a blessing to be able to start from ground zero again. And I took the approach of like, sales is a funnel, everything's a process. What are the different checkpoints that we're trying to hit in all these calls, and what are the different goals and criteria in order to pass them? What does it mean to get through them? What does it mean to not get through them? And so went at it like that. And the funnel that I ended up putting together, which we teach now, which we use during interviews, which we do during training, which we coach to weekly, is a 4-stage funnel. First stage is, in our industry, getting to the right person. In a lot of industries, it's getting through the gatekeeper. For us, the person who picks up may be the right person. So try to watch the language around that so people don't automatically not have their brain engaged when they just dial. And we have certain tactics that we want to use. And tactics in that stage, to me, are specific talk tracks. And then we have strategies, which are high-level concepts which we want to keep in the back of our mind. So for us calling into the restaurant industry, a strategy would be like, don't ask for an owner, because asking for an owner is a dead giveaway that you're a salesperson. Mm-hmm. A strategy could be vague, be confident, right? Don't sell the gatekeeper. Those are strategies versus tactics versus like ring ring, Max's Bar and Grill. Hey, can I speak with the manager? Can I speak with the manager, please? And either you're going to get like a sure, or you're going to get a, I'm sorry, who's this? Oh, yeah, don't worry about it. Just tell him it's AJ. And you're going to get an okay, or you're going to push back and it's going to be like, sorry, I'm sorry, what's this call in regards to? Oh, yeah, it's AJ from Toast. And right there, like what we're doing is we're really not giving away too much. We're not telling people we're a salesperson, and trying to handle this piece with the gatekeeper like a negotiation. Like every piece of information is a bullet in your gun, and you don't want to fire all your rounds, bang, 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 because then you're out, you got nowhere to go, just like a negotiation. So you want to give away a little bit at a time, as little as possible, and at no point am I coming in and being like, hey, this is AJ from Toast, and I'm a business development representative. I would love to talk to your owner because we are going to increase your profits and decrease your losses. Because to a gatekeeper, that sounds like click, right? So that's kind of how we built the first thing.
The process of that talk track, is everyone given a baseline talk track when they start, and as they further in their career or in that role, are you allowing them to transition from that talk track?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's funny story, but I'll get to that after this. So everything is a pirate law. Everything is a guideline, right? I'm here to teach you things that work. However, I hire people to use their brains. And I don't want to hire you to read the script I've provided. This is a great way to get off the ground for you to ramp quickly. And I know that if you do this, you will be successful. However, this is not perfect. It is not a final finished product. And as soon as you think you know everything in sales, you're dead in the water. So every person that I bring on, I want them to make it their own. I mean, you need to be successful, and you kind of earn the right to make it your own. But I hate stomping out creativity, especially early on, because you get this thing where when I'm pretty sure like the biggest breakthroughs in engineering happen with like engineering students because they don't know what they can't do.
Right.
Right? Like they don't know the rules they can't break. And I think it's the same way with BDRs where like, get in there, throw some stuff against the wall, use all the colors, but this is going to work. And like bring what you're learning to the team and present it at Monday morning meeting and like get that experience and learn if you like to coach, learn if you like to teach. Help me run different during the week training sessions.
Yeah, and that's super important to understand, like, hey, like the creativity, because we have people on our team who are creative, and you don't want to stop that because that can actually flourish a lot of people to get to the next level. But I want to backtrack because you talked about metrics and KPIs. So first off, are you holding people to certain KPIs every single week? Like you got to make 100 calls every single week, you got to do 50 emails every single week. Are you doing that, or are you not doing that?
Yeah, a little different than that though. So ultimately what we care about and what we tell the BDRs are on their first day is like, what is your job? Sell Toast. And they always get that answer wrong. Like we go around in training, like, what's your job? To book meetings. What's your job? Blah, blah, blah. It's like at the end of the day, if we're not moving the needle as an outbound BDR program, if we're not selling Toast, we don't have a job. And we just like, no matter how long we've been here, no matter what our success, we're always have to keep that in mind because nothing is permanent. Sorry, what was the question again?
Yeah, no, I was just saying like
KPIs, cool.
KPIs, yeah.
KPIs. So for us, what we need in order to hit our CAC metrics, what we need in order to be productive is 2.5 locations per month. We need, and we've back built through all of our metrics and efficiencies. What does that mean? And it means for us 15 held demos at an X% win rate. In order to guarantee that over the long run, 150 dials a day.
Okay.
I'm waiting. Yeah, I was waiting for your reaction because you said 100 a week. I'm guessing you do some sort of, it's more like enterprise. But for us, like we have enterprise reps and we have reps that are doing the job phenomenally at 50 calls a day.
Okay.
However, like those reps earn that right. Like you book your demos, they show up, you do your follow-up, you're good for culture, you're having deals come in, the world is yours. Until that point, or if you have a down month, let's get back to the basics, right? Let's get into a room, let's do tape review. Let's look at your efficiency through the funnel. What's your call to connect, right? What's your call to gatekeeper connect? What's your connect to demo schedule? What's your demo schedule to demo held? What's your held to win, right? What's going on in there? What can we tease out in the numbers? And then what are we validating in different calls that we're recording? And what can we learn from that? And it all drives back to what can we learn from that? And like, I don't want you to do work for work's sake. And I tell this to every person that works for me, I'm not gonna micromanage you. I'm not gonna come around with a whip. I'm not gonna make you sit here and make dials. You're gonna put the work in. You're gonna make dials when you need to. If you can leave a little early because you're on target, great. But I'm here to help you get to the next level. I will teach you every single thing I know about sales if you make the promise to me that you will come in here and bust your butt.
Yeah, no, I love that. I actually make the same commitment to my reps. It's like, I can give you the answers, but like if you don't utilize the advice or the value I'm giving you, then like you're not gonna be beneficial at the end of the day. Like there's a reason that certain people in the positions that they are, and they're giving you advice to help you get to the next level. And if you're not willing to listen or take it, then it's like you're not gonna get as far as you can actually get. And so yeah, 100 calls a day. I get that. I did like 50, 80 when I was at SDR. Like I think people think the phone is dead, but I don't know why. I mean, it's definitely alive.
No, I just had coffee with somebody a week or two ago who was telling me the phone was dead, and I was like, maybe in your industry, but not in mine. And
yeah.
Like back to the point you were making about like being open to feedback. Like I think honestly, the 3 most important things to look for in a new rep in an interview process are like 1, intelligence, 2, communication, and then 3 is like these 2 are just, you need them, right? You need to be smart. You need to be able to communicate, period.
Yeah.
From there though, what I'm looking for in those types of people is learning curve. And I break down learning curve as like a 2-sided coin. On the head side of the coin, there's 2 halves. So the first half is self-reflection, ability to be hard and honest on yourself, and to, have a burning desire to improve in those places.
Yeah.
The second half of that first side of the coin, though, is are you open to the universe of critique and feedback? Do you hunger for it? Do you want it? Right? Now, all that's great. Can you be introspective? Are you open to the universe? But if you don't do anything with it and you can't actually learn, it's all worthless. And that's what's important. Those 2 characteristics, and then the ability to just execute and get better.
Yeah, and you have to be able to get consistently better every single day. And so I'm curious to see, as you're getting better every single day with your sales strategy, how are you making sure that that's actually formulated correctly? And how tight and close are you with your other managers that you're working with to make sure that you guys are all aligned?
Sure. Can you repeat the first part of the question?
Yeah. So basically, like with the strategy that you're formulating with your managers, how are you making sure that you're all aligned with that strategy?
Sure. So strategy around BDR improvement.
Yeah, just BDR improvement or the strategies that you have in place in general.
Sure. So we have a very, very, very tight team. Like we are very close. Hey, Brittany. Hey, Olivia. Hey, Ross. Hey, Sam. Hey, Sean. But there's certain things that we do on a regular cadence, right? And I promised this to every single person in the interview. So the interview starts with, you have to mock call me, and I'm going to give you feedback. And then you're going to mock call me, you're going to mock call me, you're going to feedback. Then you come in and we train you again. And then they're like, oh, well, how important to you is training? It's like, well, it's really important. You already started, right? Your first week or two is nonstop training, but then it doesn't end because we are all about career development. And every week, everybody gets a one-on-one with their manager. Twice a week, people are in small sessions with other BDRs and BDR managers doing tape reviews. Once a week, we're doing group role play. Once a week, we're doing objection handling. And then once a week, everybody has to sit in on a demo and fill out a form. So that's like the structured feedback and training program. However, we also run trainings during Monday morning meeting. We'll run lunch and learns. And we have a policy around, just because you may report to a BDR manager does not mean you can only go to that manager. Does not mean you can only go to the BDR management team. I remember as a BDR how important it was for me going to sales directors and the VP of sales and everybody and just ISRs, AEs, whatever you want to call them, monopolizing their calendars, monopolizing their time, and just like being selfish about it. And my gift, if I had one, would be a chameleon and just pulling things from different people and just taking the best parts and pretending I'm somebody good and just standing on the shoulders of giants. So in one respect, that's how we're on the same page because we have this machine running. We also have a good understanding of whenever there's white space on our calendar, we don't own that time, right? We need to, we're blocked off for interviews, we're blocked off for trainings, we have to block off our busy work. Like I come in at 7:30 every day because I know that there's going to be a million fires. And if I want to know that I'm going to get to my projects, I need to do them before the team gets in. That's the only way I can guarantee it's going to happen because my day may not be my own. I'm sure you're the same way, right? Like your days can get monopolized. And so like I got to a point where I had to create time because I wasn't able to find time. And so like we are subservient to the players. If they're not succeeding, we are failing type of mentality. And, it takes a village to raise a village, and we'll do anything that it takes to work one-on-one with players, work them through pips, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, and that's important to continuously have that process, get them aligned, get them together. And so as part of your sales strategy, when a new rep starts, what's your 90-day onboarding process look like?
It's a really good question. So we don't have like a formalized 90-day process. We run a lot of and like we're gonna get there. I hope one day. Like we're getting better every day. But the way we break up our training sessions is a lot of the times we'll do what we have unramped and ramped players, and you don't need to be there a certain time to be ramped, or it's not a certain cutoff. It's like we're looking at efficiency ratios and outcomes. And once you hit certain efficiency ratios, once you've achieved certain outcomes, we consider you ramped, and we are looking at you differently and with a different group than the unramped players. And we will either train with them separately, and sometimes we commingle them because a lot can be learned by pairing a ramped with an unramped player. That being the case, we're working on something right now where we bring in levels, BDR levels, right? Because I'm sure you manage a lot of millennials, and people want the constant feedback. People want that ability to grow and get promotions, and they want the idea that they're in control of their fate and it's a meritocracy and they can earn things. And so and I don't have, we've taken a couple runs at it. It's not in cement. It's not coming out tomorrow, but ideas of 2 to 3 to 4 levels and mini promotions with maybe bumps along the way in responsibility or freedom or pay, anything, right?
Yeah.
To try to put a framework in that in place so that people have like I've been a BDR 6 months in. I was chomping at the bit. I was ready to go. I was fortunate because I was able to pick up 2 or 3 different projects along the way. And that to me was my levels, right? But you know, it's something that we think about a lot, and you know, certifications, testing, different titles, different perks, different responsibilities, stuff like that.
Yeah. And do you do like small promotions along the way, or is it just from BDR to AE, BDR to customer success?
So we have a really interesting, so this doesn't exist today, right? BDR is BDR is BDR. However, everyone comes in as an outbound BDR, and you have the ability to then get moved over to inbound BDR or enterprise BDR. However, we also are the type of team that if we ever have an opening for anything, like a manager, we open it up to the team. We have a BDR who just got promoted to a manager after 2 months on the team because they have 15 years experience as a GM of a restaurant, and they like that was a gap in our management, right?
Yeah.
So, and then we also just opened 2 experimental ISR roles. One of them is purely going to eat outbound food. Like all they're going to do demos on is outbound demos. The other one is going to be a self-sourcing outbound ISR, pardon me. And like we keep trying to come up with these different ways and ideas that we can get people up and out and promote from within constantly, and show them different career paths, because you don't just need to stay in sales, right? You can be an ISR, you can be an outside sales rep, you can be a BDR manager, you can be account manager, you can be customer support, you can be, we have a girl who's going to go to marketing, like implementation, you name it, right? If you're qualified and you've done well for us and you've been good for culture, and I can put my stamp on you with confidence, the world is your oyster.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, it really is. Like, I think, you know, if the opportunities are there, the results are there, and they're aligned, like, you're gonna transcend your career, and you're gonna do very well for yourself.
Yeah, and that's candidly like why I got into this, is because I wanted to take my career in my own hands, and I think that's what BDR is, right? BDR is the opportunity to go do something and learn skills, learn how to sell yourself, right? Like, and make what you want of it. And I think it's a beautiful thing. It was great for me. I know a ton of people it's worked out well for. It's worked out well for you. But like, I mean, I think it was, honestly, it was the best career decision I made, was becoming a BDR.
Yeah, no, I would definitely say that, you know, probably 5 to 15 years from now, it'll be like, you know, me, SDR over here. But it's like, that was the best decision of like me going to be an SDR. It's definitely not the most glamorous position in the entire world. It really is not. Like, people don't understand. It is a grind. It's underestimated how much of a grind it is. But I think I've learned so much, and, you know, I've just become a completely different person, and my skill set's completely different because I took that leap. And so kind of going further than that, you said you're passionate about this. So what is it that you're most passionate about that you implemented into the sales strategy at Toast?
Sure. So, like, honestly, I think the funnel is going to live at Toast for, you know, our outbound BDR team. As long as it's around, it will outlive me. You know, it was the thing I created, and there's 3 more stages. I don't know if we'll have time to get to them or not, but there's 3 more stages in it that, you know, you can hire 10 people a month off the street and put people through this, and money will come out.
Yeah.
And not only that, but you're teaching people sales skills. It's not a script. And it's a way of, if you teach someone to think about selling in this way, they can leave Toast, go to another company as the first sales rep, and build their own scripts in an intelligent way.
Wow.
And like, think about the other constantly. Always be thinking about the person on the other end. And that's the person that you need to be constantly trying to make yourself better for. Put yourself in their shoes. Understand what they're thinking at this moment in time. Like, for example, second stage, right? Phone gets handed off to someone who's running a restaurant, and it could be you, right? Like, what are the thoughts that go through your head when someone calls your cell phone and you don't recognize the number?
There's 3 things that are happening. 1, it's an extreme emergency. 2, it's probably someone trying to sell me something. And then 3, it's probably like a reminder for like an appointment that I set.
Okay. So those are like the nicest answers I've heard.
Oh, really?
When I ask these people, a lot of the time it's like, oh, it's a salesperson, I'm not going to pick up. Or, yeah, somebody wants to know if they can rebalance my loans, like all this stuff. And like, I think you did mention it in a way, but it's like the guard goes up, right? The shell goes up, the defenses go up. That's human nature, right? And it harkens back to the lizard brain. It's fight or flight. It's like,
of course.
Who are you? Why are you calling me? And what the hell do you want from me?
Yeah.
And if we can understand that animal instinct on who we're calling, and then optimize what we're about to say next to fit those 3 questions,
yeah,
that is the way to get those barriers to come down, right? So who? Intro, your name, your company. Why? Why you? Why now? Why did I pick up this phone and call you right now? And what is about to happen next? And then what am I going to ask for you? What am I going to ask you for at the end? And if you can answer those things calmly in a way that sounds good, people are going to be like, oh, okay, yeah, sure, what's up?
Yeah, exactly.
But teaching BDRs to think like that and think about, it's not a script. It didn't start with a script. It started with psychology and acting and understanding your prospect and getting into the human emotions and trying to understand that. And that is how you drive results.
So your sales strategy, what I'm getting from is, hey, this is a mindset and a methodology more than just like a script that I'm giving to everybody.
Yeah, I mean, you can take the mindset and a methodology around understanding the other and put billions of scripts on it. And they can be, and this is how you can run good experiments, because you can think about, all right, well, this person may be thinking this, or they may be thinking this. How can I best handle them in that moment for A or for B? And then I'm going to test it, right? And that's always worked for me. And, you know, I think it really, there's a great book, I'm sure you've heard of it, How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Yeah, fantastic book. You got to read that. It's a good book.
Yeah, and it really left a mark on me, if you can't tell, because I'm always thinking about the other. I've got this terrible viewpoint of like everybody's selfish and self-serving and they only care about themselves. If you want to get something from somebody, you need to position whatever you want as the thing that they want. And that is the cornerstone of my philosophy on selling, is always think of the other and then build from there.
Yeah. And so is that the sales strategy from your standpoint, is like you're thinking of the other people? How can this plan maximize the reps more than how can it maximize maybe yourself?
I think that you maximize yourself by being able to think like that. And I guess when I built this, I was trying to, through the first 2 stages, right? It's like, get the right person on the phone. When you get the right person on the phone, how can I make the best first impression and how can I set myself up for success? Get them to buy into a conversation. Stage 3 is a conversation. If we get there, stage 4 is a close. But there's this big disconnect between like, I get to the right person and then it goes to hell right away, because a lot of people just puke a value prop out. Nobody wants to pick up a phone and hear a value prop. They want to understand, who the hell are you? Why are you calling me? And what do you want from me? And if you can get them to buy into having a conversation, then we can talk about the fun stuff, and I'll teach you how to sell around the 4 different types of questions and going from vague to specific and open-ended questions and mirroring and labeling and pain funneling and surface to business and time and money. And we can get into all that fun stuff where you learn how to be a consultative salesperson.
Right.
You're not going to get any shots if you can't get to the right person and get them to buy into a conversation. So like, I optimize the top 2 things of the funnel to optimize shots on goal. And once you can get shots on goal, I can teach you how to deke the goalie.
Yeah, I like that.
I just made that up. Yeah.
You need to like save that in the memory banks. I like that a lot.
I'll use that tomorrow.
Yeah. Get everybody fired up after that one.
Yeah. If you can't tell, I get fired up about training.
Yeah, no, it's good, man. I love it. I get fired up about this stuff too. So it's awesome. So as we're kind of winding down, I got a couple final questions. So you talked about the 3 stages of this funnel process or the sales strategy. Kind of go in that to a little briefly and explain that to us.
Yeah. So first stage, right? 4 stages, but first stage is getting to the right person, right? in our company, it's getting the right person. If you're calling cell phones, you've got the right person, and you skip right to stage 2. Stage 2 is, what do you say the moment, it's your setup. What do you say the moment you get on the phone with them to get them to buy into a conversation, and a conversation you want to have. Stage 3 is the conversation where like I could go for hours on this stuff. And then stage 4 is the close. And those are the 4 stages. And if you go from a high level, I need to get to the right person. When I get to the right person, I need to make a good first impression. I need to set myself up for success. I need to put them first and understand their mindset, and then build from there. Get them to join the conversation and give me permission immediately so they feel like they're a part of the conversation. Get right to the point in the conversation. Go to direct questions. Don't beat around the bush, and then follow up with different tricks like open-ended questions and mirroring and labeling. Look around for surface level pain. Use those tools we just talked about to drive down into business level pain, but we're not done yet. Don't book yet. Don't pull that trigger, because now you need to understand business pain on 2 levels. 1 is time and 2 is money. When you quantify business pain, you're ready to close. You don't even need that 3rd stage of the pain funnel, which is personal, which is like, if I don't fix this, I'm gonna lose my job. It's like, we don't need to get there as an outbound BDR. It's nice, but we don't need it. Maybe you do. And then the last piece is like, just don't screw up the close. If you've got somebody that would take a close, do 3 things, right? I like to teach summarize, solution, suggestion. So summarize, right? I'm going to make you understand that I hear you, that I'm intelligent, that I understand your problem. I'm gonna let you know I've been listening. Stage number 2 is I'm gonna present a solution. No more, no less. If it's less, I'm not giving you a real solution, then I either don't understand the problem or I can't fix it. My company can't fix it.
Yeah.
No more though, because like if I give you an adequate solution, but then I don't stop talking, I'm just that crappy sales rep who likes to hear themselves talk and is pitching on things that don't matter. Once I have proven to you that I understand your problem and I have a solution, now it's time to make a suggestion because I've earned that right to a meeting. And those are the 4 stages.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I love it. So you've just given us a lot of knowledge, a lot of quotes that will probably be blown up somewhere after this interview. So as the last question I ask every single person that comes on this show, what's your number 1 piece of advice for SDRs as they enter into their new role?
Yeah, so my number 1 piece of advice would be to always be hungry, always be learning, never think the job is done, and don't be afraid to ask the people that you're probably afraid to ask for time and for help. Now, don't be greedy and know what you're going to talk about when you get to them, but you know, don't be afraid of a title, especially in your own company. In fact, it can really set you apart. And you know, keep hustling, keep your head down. I guess this is like 30 pieces of advice, but there's a lot of advice to give. So of course.
Well, Alex, thank you so much for hopping on the SDR Chronicles today. As I always say, guys, keep dialing, and I'll see you guys soon.